Grand Rising, everyone. Brand new day. Had a full moon last night. It was a great, beautiful full moon. Before we get started, let's get the frequency right. We're going to get the frequency right before we start. A lot of times people try to bring in some bad energy. People got bad energy in your life. People got bad energy that's around you right now. We're going to bring in the good energy first. We're going to set the right frequency first. While we're giving people a little opportunity to get in, we're going to set the frequency. I do want to say real quick right off the bat, this is going to be the last live that I do on TikTok and Facebook. All lives will, for now and forevermore, be on my YouTube channel. You can find it in the bio on TikTok. On Facebook, it's the same name as the group on Facebook. But from now on, all lives will be on YouTube. This is the last one that's going to be on TikTok and Facebook. I want to look at one camera. I want to see one conversation. So go and subscribe to my YouTube page. Like and share this video. Let's get the vibe right. First. Let's get in the right frequency. Let's get in the right frequency. Let's get your frequency right before we get started. We're going to be talking about embracing the duality of you. The light side and the dark side, the good and the bad, the masculine and the feminine. We're going to talk about this today. Getting our frequency right before we get started. So many people have bad and negative energy when they come to folks' lives. They're looking for all that negativity. They're looking to argue. They're looking to fuss and fight. But we're going to get in the right frequency. Especially today, we're talking about the duality of you. Your duality. Embracing both versions, both sides of it. The good, the bad. You're going to embrace your entire self. Because y'all out here, last night was a full moon. Yeah, y'all want to bring things into full manifestation last night. I know some of y'all was out there looking at that full moon saying, I'm going to bring things into being last night. But yet, you haven't embraced your full self yet. So we're going to get into the right frequency. We're going to come back to that. Every now and then. Let me hook you up there. There you go, Facebook. Get you into the right frequency. See? Facebook didn't want to act right. But we're going to get into the right frequency. Now we got Facebook acting right. Over there. Grand Rising. If this is your first time finding me, I am Coach Renz. And great announcement as far as I'm concerned. Today is the last live that I'm going to do on TikTok and Facebook. Other videos will be on TikTok and Facebook. Short videos will be on TikTok and Facebook. All long form videos and lives will be on YouTube starting next week. And even next week, we're going to start having live videos on Monday mornings around 8 o'clock. We're going to do some meditating and stretching and just get our week started right as far as some good motivational quotes and thoughts and philosophies to take throughout our week. We're going to start that this upcoming Monday on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, which is in the bio of my TikTok. Facebook is the same group. All you got to do, Jeremy, is go join the YouTube channel. It's available on YouTube. I want one camera. See, right now I'm looking to the left. I'm looking to the right. We're going to look straight. We're going to look straight at YouTube. So join my YouTube channel. Jeremy, just join the YouTube channel. I know you got YouTube on your phone. Just join YouTube. And then you'll be able to catch everything on YouTube. Everything will be on YouTube. So that's where we're going to be most of the time, is on YouTube. You know, that's where the lives are going to be. That's where the participation is going to be. No. I'm not just done. It's just, I'm going to focus the lives and long form videos on my YouTube, right in front of it. On Monday morning, when we do our meditation Mondays, 8 o'clock a.m. Monday morning, if you're in your car, it doesn't matter. If you're at work, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you are. You'll be able to just get your week set up right for yourself. Get your energy right. Get your frequency right. You know, we're coming into a new age of thought, a new age of understanding, of knowledge. So let's get ourselves started out on the right foot before we go out and face the challenges of this world, because we're always going to have some challenges. So since we're always going to have these challenges, let's get our duality right. That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get our frequency right, our vibration right, so we can operate at a higher level. Operating at a higher level. I'm telling you, the way that the world is moving today, and I know people say this for every generation, the world is always changing, because change is a constant of the universe. But if we don't get our mind, our vibration, our frequency in the right pattern, you're going to find yourself missing out on the beauties of everything. So Monday morning, 8 o'clock, we're going to start our Monday morning meditations. And hell, y'all get to see y'all always see me here in this cigar lounge, but it's only going to be on YouTube. You got to join my YouTube. Tell you right now, it's got to be on me. It's only going to be on my YouTube. There won't be any replays on Facebook, replays on TikTok. It's all going to be on YouTube. So join my YouTube, and that's where we're going to be. You know, and on that Monday mornings, we're going to get your frequency right. We're going to get you right. I got plenty of Tibetan bowls that we're going to use to open your chakras, to get your, and we're going to use sulfalagios and binaural beats. Going to get you right. Also, they're great to sleep to. I'm telling you right now, if you haven't slept to binaural beats or sulfalagios, you are missing out. You are missing out. But I just wanted to say a bunch of times, I'm going to say it a couple more times. Starting Monday, all my lives are just going to be on YouTube. So go and join the YouTube page, which is my name, Larenzo. Or if you're on TikTok or Facebook, the group that you're in is called Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz. You can even search that and it'll come up. And then subscribe to the page, the YouTube page. Hit that bell icon so you get the notifications. But all lives will be only on YouTube starting next week. So I hope that you guys are there. I hope you're there. I hope you're there. I hope you're there. Because that's where the conversations are going to be. There are no fees on YouTube. No. There's YouTube always trying to get you to buy the YouTube television, but there are no fees on YouTube. You know, I mean, I do have people who have become members of the page on YouTube, but you don't have to become a member. You don't have to become a member. But I thank everybody for their support. All right, I'm just going to thank you in advance. I know some people are going to give stars on Facebook. I know some people are going to give super thanks and donations on YouTube. And I'm going to already appreciate those people. I appreciate you tremendous. I appreciate everybody who's liking and sharing the channel and everything. But today we're going to start out talking about embracing the duality of you. Embracing the duality of you. Yes, I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep doing it, Dwayne. We're going to be over on Facebook, on YouTube. We're going to be on YouTube for the lives. Y'all will still get videos on these other channels, small videos, short videos, but all the in-depth stuff, the deep stuff, it's going to be on YouTube. We're also going to start doing, it's been said to me before, but a young lady yesterday at the end of the live that I did yesterday, she remarked on YouTube about a digital package to create for people who want to either live a polygamous life, a poly life, or just even in your monogamous life, and the paperwork that you can utilize to protect yourselves instead of having to get a marriage license. But a lot of it is paperwork you need to have. It's just anyway. You just need to have it. So we're going to create that digital package. We're going to create the video instructional portion of it. We're going to start doing a lot of things on YouTube and on my website just to start building people up, preparing them, getting you ready so that you can live like a fantastic life. You know, we especially for those of us who's walked away. I was talking to somebody else yesterday or the day before. I don't remember which day it was. But you know, they're getting ready for all their Easter stuff, and they're stressed out. They're stressed out for all the Easter stuff they're getting ready for. And I made the joke to them, it's so nice to be free. It is so nice to be free, right? And although they said that, well, after this weekend, they'll be free from having to do all the running around and all the work and all the stuff as they prepare for this Sunday, I reminded them, I said, no, I mean to be free, period. To be free from the stress of having to conform myself to what somebody else has decided is what I need to conform myself to. To be free of that type of freedom. To be in the flow of the way. So that's why when I got here today, you know, I could have got started right at 10 o'clock, but I had to pick up one of my favorite books. That's the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching. I had to pick it up, and I immediately opened it up. When I didn't search for nothing. I didn't look for nothing. I just immediately opened it up, and when I opened it up, it came to a perfect passage, a perfect verse for what we're going to talk about today, because I started to pick up my Kabbalion. The Kabbalion is the book that I really need to pick up in order to talk about duality, and it's right over there. It's right over there. That's the one I need to pick up, but it's right over there. We can still pick it up. It's not a problem. We can pick it up. But the Tao was sitting on top of it. The Tao was sitting on top of it. And when I opened it opened up to verse 28 of the Tao. And in the first few words, hold your male side with your female side. Hold your bright side with your dull side. Hold your high side with your low side. Then you will be able to hold the whole world. I came in the door ready to talk about duality. Came in the door ready to talk about merging your light self and your shadow self. That you got to have the fullness of yourself, the fullness of you. Last night was full moon last night. Over the digital airways, people were talking about full moon manifestations, manifest this, manifest that. That's what I was hearing. It's a full moon. It's a full moon. You've been planting, you've been nurturing, you've been growing. Now it's time to make everything come into its fullness. It's the full moon. It's the full moon. Every month, it's the same thing. Every 23 days or 20 whatever days that we have a full moon, it's the same thing. The exact same thing. But in every occasion, people are still trying to manifest the same thing over and over again. Now, we do have to have patience, and we have to have discipline to continue to move forward, to wait, to keep doing the things necessary to get there. See, Facebook acting up over there. That's why you got to be over on my YouTube, Deborah. Go on over to the YouTube. Just get off Facebook right now. Go on over to YouTube. YouTube don't mess up. That's another reason why I'm be on YouTube only. Go on over to YouTube. But it's great that people want to manifest things and they want to use the full moon energy. It's not a bad thing at all. It's a great thing. But if you're struggling, if you're trying to avoid aspects of yourself, it's a difference from making yourself better. There's a difference between making yourself better and embracing both sides of who you are, because you need both sides of who you are, but you got to refine both sides. But I love how the Tao just started out. Hold your male side with your female side. Hold your bright side with your dull side. Hold your high side with your low side. Then you will be able to hold the whole world. When the opposing forces unite within, there comes a power abundant in its giving and unerring in its effect. When the opposing forces unite within, and mind you, I'm not telling y'all to become a Taoist. No, Taoism is a philosophy anyway. Taoism is a philosophy. My YouTube name is my first and last name, L-A, gotta spell it right now, Honey Hogan, Larenzo. Last name is R-E-I-D. Or you can type in Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz. But either way, you should be able to find me. Deborah already now moved on over and she found me on the YouTube. You know, so either Larenzoreid or Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz, and you'll find me on YouTube. It's gonna be the last live on TikTok and Facebook. You don't have all these cameras. But when opposing forces unite, there comes a power abundant in its giving and unerring in its effect. Flowing through everything, it returns one to the first breath, guiding everything. It returns one to no limits, embracing everything. It returns one to the uncarved block. In the hermetic laws, the hermetic law of gender lets you know that in order for you to manifest anything, you have to have the masculine and feminine energy. And those masculine and feminine energy must be in balance with each other in order to manifest anything. The whole reason I don't wear the Ankh because I'm a comedic science, because I believe in the deities of Kim. No, it is the symbolism of the masculine that represents the penis, the masculine, and the feminine, the ovaries, and the I just forgot what that area of called on the woman, where the babies are held. Just forgot it that quick. And my hematite stone in the middle, representing the manifestation and holding in that balance of energy, right? So it is the balance of your masculine and your feminine, the embracing of your masculine and feminine energy. If you was on, see, you guys wouldn't have saw the video yesterday because it's a different group, a relationship group. That's why you got to go over to the YouTube, because YouTube gets everything. We was talking about relationships, and we talked about what makes a great male leader. And thankfully I had a brother Marine on now, and we broke down the leadership traits based on the Marine Corps, and the leadership characteristics based on the Marine Corps, and it was phenomenal. It was great. The only way you can watch the replay of that is to go to my YouTube page. And it was a great conversation. But in all the lessons of understanding what makes a great leader, and we was looking at it from the male perspective, but it works for all people, male or female, you have to be able to embrace both sides of who you are, right? You cannot be a person who gives responsibility and takes responsibility for the actions of yourself and your family if you don't know how to give instructions to your family, clear and concise instructions, but also ensure that everything is done properly. And at the same time, be able to take on the responsibility and accept criticism. You can't accept criticism if you are all super masculine, running around with your ego. It doesn't work. You can't have good judgment. You can't be dependable. You can't have integrity if you don't embrace both your masculine and your feminine side. You can't protect your family if you only embrace one side of you. Protecting your family is not only fighting against evil things or negative things that may come towards you, but protecting your family is also being able to nurture your family. How can you nurture your family if you all super masculine? You can't. You can't nurture your family if you're all super masculine. It doesn't work that way. It'll never work that way. You got to have a balance. You got to know when to be straightforward, logical, instructional, But then you got to know when to be emotional, nurturing and caring and understanding, showing empathy and sympathy. You have to know when to do those things as well. Right? So you have to have balance in every aspect of who you are. You found me, Terry? Appreciate it. Glad you found me over here on the YouTube instead of Facebook and TikTok, because we're going to be on YouTube starting next week from now on as far as lives are concerned. Right. But you got to have that balance. You got to have that balance. I mean, I'm using the Tao. I wasn't expecting to use the Tao at all today. I was fully expecting to use the Kabbalion and the hermetic law, but I saw the Tao. I picked up the Tao. I opened it up. Verse 28 was right there in front of me, and when it came up, and and it just like bam, right, exactly where I needed it to be. So that's the manifestation of my energy, right? I'll never tell you that I'm over here and there's some outside energy that's creating and determining what happens. It's cause and effect. On my drive today, and I'm thinking about what we're going to talk about as far as the duality and having that balance within. So it's my energy that opened up the Tao exactly where I wanted the Tao to open up. Grand Rising, Debbie, how you doing? And when we started today, let's hit it one more time. Let's get it right. We got some new people that walked into the rooms. Let's get it right. Let's make sure everybody's on the right frequency. Get everybody on the right frequency. Everybody get on the right frequency. And I'm telling you, on YouTube, you're going to want to join me on Monday mornings when we do our morning meditations, getting our frequency right. But it jumped out. It's just, repetition is a great instruction, a great teacher. Great teacher. Repetition is a great teacher. When the opposing forces unite within, there comes a power abundant in its giving and unerring in its effect. Flowing through everything, it returns one to the first breath, guiding everything. It returns one to no limit, embracing everything. It returns one to the uncarved block. Now, the uncarved block part might throw some people off. The uncarved block. What is he talking about, an uncarved block? Well, it goes on to say, when the block is divided, it becomes something useful. And leaders rule with a few pieces of it. But the sage holds the block complete, holding all things within himself. He preserves the great unity, which cannot be ruled or divided. See, most of us are going around and we're trying to divide ourselves. We're trying to use little pieces of ourselves. We're trying to use the part of ourselves that society says is okay. That's the good part. That's the part that you need to embrace. And we leave out the duality. If somebody walks into the room and they're trying to attack my family, oftentimes can I say, oh, just be loving, man. Let's be nurturing to that person. That person came in with ill intent. I got to defend my family. I need to snatch them up. I need that other side of me to come out and snatch them up when it's proper. Matter of fact, let me tell you a little story. I'm sitting here in my lounge, right? Having a good time. Great conversation. Everybody who comes in the door, they know I'm a peaceful guy. We have conversation. They know I'm peaceful. But they also know I served in the Marine Corps. They knew I grew up in not the best areas of town. Gentleman comes in. I'm talking to my lady. We having a conversation. We in full conversation. He comes in and he just abruptly starts talking. Interrupting. No excuse me, nothing. He just starts talking. And I told him, I said, hey, man, we was in conversation. You just can't just jump in like that. And I'm skipping some. I'm leaving out probably some details. But he said, I was just like, you can't jump in like that. Then he was like, oh, man, he dismissed my lady to the point where he said, I'm worried about my money. I don't care now. You can get another one of those, pointing towards my lady. You can get another one of those. Oh, see, at that moment, the shadow side had to come out. The dark side had to come out. And the dark side didn't come out and it wasn't regulated. Just enough dark side came out for me to stand up in front of, stand up, approach him, position myself that if he made the wrong move to defend myself, but enough of me came out, enough of the shadow side came out to shut him down, to let him know that you hold no weight here. And the rudeness and disrespect that you just showed to my lady, we're not having that in here. It's not going to happen. I have to interject some fear into him and let him know we ain't about that life. And it was interesting. It was my lady's first time ever seeing me in that format. But I didn't let my, even though there was a part of me. Yeah, I was gone all last weekend, but I'm here this weekend. Das. There was a part of me that wanted to snatch him up. There was a part of me that wanted to choke him out. There was a part of me that could have easily taken advantage of the guy and beat him down like he stole something. But it was measured. It was a measured release of the anger, a measured release of the shadow self. That's balance. You see, when those people, when they lose it all and they see red and they just lose themselves and allow the shadow self to just completely take over, allow the anger to completely take over. Now, see, that's a lack of balance. You got to apply the appropriate pressure for the situation that you're dealing with. You don't go overboard. And see, that's having the whole block. That's not being a divided block, because you got some people so pacifistic. Some people will sit there and try to be all nice and let that man continue to disrespect your family, disrespect your lady, try to possibly bring harm and say whatever you want to say and give them a pass. Some people be so passive as that they'll try to be, all mealy-mouthed about it. And that person now can figure they can come in and say what they want to say, do what they want to do, because they can run right over you. And then others are so overly aggressive that every moment has to be an aggressive attack moment. Everything has to be aggressive and overly aggressive and over emasculate. That's when we talk about some toxic masculinity. Some have to be that way, but it's a balance. The appropriate amount at the appropriate time. The appropriate amount at the appropriate time. That's having balance. That's how you protect and raise your family. That's how you act on your job. Some people on their jobs and people are taking advantage of it. But when we talked yesterday on the other channel that you guys didn't see unless you was on YouTube, you had to have some tact. Tact is one of those core traits that you have to be able to balance and utilize tact to talk to people correctly, to make sure that they know that you can't be run over. What do I think about Andrew Tate? I don't know who Andrew Tate is. Lately, I've heard that masculine and feminine are social constructs. I'm not completely clear on that theory. Sometimes we are too woke. I respect your logic. What are your thoughts on this? That tone hit me in the throat. Let me hit you with it one more time then. Masculine and feminine, they're not illusions. They're not social constructs at all. Everything in the matter universe, everything in the spirit universe, everything has masculine and feminine energy. Sex in our matter form and our human form is just one way of how we define it here. But it's factual. It's finite. It is very factual. I know we live in this culture where people want to be binary, this, identify as that, and all those kinds of things. right? I know people. I get it. People make up stuff all the time. You know, people race is a construct. Like race based on skin tone is a construct, but gender is not a construct. You are either male or female biologically. You can think yourself whatever you want to think yourself, and everybody you have the right to think however you want to think. But in this physical form, I am male. I have the male physical form. Now, energetically, or whatever you term you want, energy, soul, ka, spirit, whichever one you want to use, you have both the masculine and the feminine. You have both the masculine and the feminine. So whether we're working on a higher plane of consciousness or a lower plane of consciousness, you still work on a masculine and a feminine basis. But oftentimes we're pushed one way more so than the other way. The whole idea of the ability for a baby to be born has to be a masculine and feminine involved is a physical demonstration that the balance of the masculine and feminine that produces and replicates, that continues to manifest a baby. You cannot manifest a baby with two feminines. You cannot manifest a baby with two masculines. You cannot. It does not happen. It's a genetic impossibility. Even the animals that have both masculine, like I think it was one of the earthworms or something like that, some kind of worm, it has the male and the female. On one end of itself is the male, and the other end of itself is the female. It's asexual. But it still has to have a masculine and feminine, even within itself, on a physical plane, to replicate itself. So gender is a law of the universe, and there's a difference between, we say the law is that you can only drive 50 miles per hour. Well, they can change that next week. It could be 60 miles per hour. It could be 40 miles per hour. That's really not a law. It's a guideline. Laws are things that cannot be changed. Cannot be changed. They're immutable. They're immutable. Gender is an immutable law. It cannot be changed. I don't care if you change the outside all day long. You can have the doctor make your breast and turn your ping ping to a poom poom. You can turn your poom poom to a ping ping. You can cut off your breast and make a chest. But your genetics are still masculine or feminine, no matter how you slice it. Biologically, you are still a man or a woman. You can change it. Oh, thank you, Deborah, for joining. Deborah joined the page. I appreciate that for joining, becoming a member of the YouTube page. Thank you. But you can change the outside. But a woman who changes the outside of her body to be a male can never engage in sexual activity with another woman and they produce a baby. Cannot happen. You can't even go in and with a needle and try to draw some substance from that changed woman that woman who's changed into a physical man. You cannot even draw out the substance, put it in a test tube, or do in vitro fertilization and manifest the baby. There is no way that it could be done. She's still a woman. It's still woman on woman. Same thing with two dudes. If a dude can change his body construction to look like a woman, but he will never have a womb. And with that, well, you know what? They are doing fake wombs. So let me not say that. But even in having that fake womb, he can never biologically produce an egg that can be fertilized with sperm. It can never happen. Gender is immutable. It's immutable. It cannot be changed. These universal laws cannot be changed. And the universal law that it takes masculine and feminine energy to manifest anything is an immutable law. You will not find it in nature. You will not, and if you cannot find it, so when we think about the law of correspondence, as above, so below, that everything that happens on the above happens on the below. When you think about it, when you look at the law of correspondence, whatever is happening on this matter plane, whatever the laws are on this matter plane, those laws exist on the spiritual plane. So on the spiritual plane, although we do not, I don't believe, conform to the exact same standards of masculine and feminine, well, of male and female, that you are in balance, that you just exist. That's where you're more asexual, right? That there is no difference. There is no you a girl, you a guy. You just are. You just are. Because we're not walking around with genitalia, in that one. I believe that that's why even in the Christian Bible, when they questioned Jesus about a woman who had married like 6, 9, 12 brothers, who would she be married to in heaven? And he said that in heaven you are not given unto marriage because you are not in the framework of male and female. In the Gospel of Thomas, he says that he's going to make Mary like these males, and these males will not see heaven until they understand how he can make Mary into like these males. Still a little patriarchal in the thought. Damn near every angel messenger is a male. Very patriarchal. Still not quite woke yet, even though I'm mad they've totally destroyed the term woke. Now they've allowed woke to mean everything, but that's a whole nother video. It's a whole nother video. It's a whole nother video. But what we have to do is embrace our full self. Look, there are parts of me that when I'm in here amongst the men and women who come into the lounge, the beings of the lounge, there are things that I will say that throws them off, that they look at me with a twisted face. Because even though they know it within themselves to be true of what I'm saying, the fact that I'm willing to say it out loud and embrace it fully throws them off because they are not, and nothing against them, but they are not at a conscious level where they are in an acceptance of every aspect of who they are. They're still controlled by, cultural norms of you can't say this or you can't say that, even though you could think it. Let me tell you guys one of them that happened last night. I was telling them, and see, and I'm gonna demonstrate how they all got comfortable after I said it. They all got real comfortable after I said it, because now they felt like, oh, it's okay to say it. You shouldn't be okay to say it just because somebody else said it. Because if they go into another room, they're not going to say it. But we was talking about relationships, and when you get into, I don't know if you guys ever gotten there or you've ever had this thought, but I realized in around 2014, 13, 14, that one of the signs that I know that I am emotionally and mentally and spiritually done with a relationship is I started having thoughts of that person dying. I know how that sounds. I understand how that sounds. I understand how. I know some of y'all frequency got messed up right there. Some of y'all frequency got messed up right there. Some of y'all frequency got messed up right there. I know it did. But walk with me for a second. The reason why people stay in a messed up relationship as long as they do, because the pain of going through the process of breaking up with somebody seems more difficult than if the person just had an accident and passed away, or just died in their sleep, or choked on a chicken bone, or anything like that. Literally, if you're honest with yourself, you've thought about it. That it would be a lot easier if that person passed away than it would be for you to have to go through the conversations of a breakup, because that's not one conversation. That's going to be multiple conversations. They're going to want to talk to you. They're going to be calling you. They're going to be mad. They're going to say things to you. if you have properties together, children together, if you got to go through a legal process, all of that seems like it's more painful to go through than if the person just passes away or pass away. And so when I told them that, that's when I know that's one of the things that lets me know I'm completely out of a relationship, that mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I'm done, is when I start thinking like that. And of course, they all looked at me sideways. But then they all start admitting that they have the same thoughts, that they think the same thing. KJ didn't want to say nothing, but I was like, KJ, I know you think that way too. Y'all don't know who KJ is, so it don't matter. But they all started admitting it because they felt safe because I said it. But how many other times, how many other situations, how often inside themselves they're fighting against that? They're fighting against that. What did the Tao say in the middle of that verse? When the opposing forces unite within, there comes a power abundant in its giving and unerred and in its effect. There's a power in that. There's a power in uniting uniting yourself, your duality. There's a power in it. It's like when in the Nag Hammadi writings, when it says that after you find, you will marvel, and then you will reign over all, meaning all of yourself, reign over all of you. That's where that power is. So all these people, full moon rituals, nothing against your full moon rituals. Hell, I have full moon rituals myself. Those rituals are just a reminder of me getting my energy right. It is not the ritual itself that manifests anything. It is the energy within me. It is my mental energy combined with the law of correspondence, the law of cause and effect, the law of polarity, the law of gender, all the laws, the law of rhythm. All those laws work together in unity. But in order to have that unity, you got to embrace every aspect of who you are, right? Embrace everything of who you are. Appreciate that, Seth. Yes, exactly. Where we are nature and we have to have balance. Exactly, Debbie. I want to remind everybody who just got on here that this is the last live that I'll be doing on TikTok and YouTube. TikTok and Facebook, all lives. Be clear, lives will be done on YouTube from now on. So starting Monday, we're gonna have our morning. We're gonna do morning meditations on Monday. We're gonna talk about. There'll be discussions. We might stretch if you're at home, because I'm gonna be at home. So we're gonna stretch a little bit. We're gonna play some tunes. Some sounds. We're gonna have some sound bowls, and we're going to get ourselves in the right frequency to go through the week. Monday mornings, 8:00. This is only going to be on YouTube, and all lives will be on YouTube. You'll still get videos on Facebook and TikTok, but YouTube. Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz on YouTube. That's where you need to go. You need to go there. Deborah became a member. I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. But that's what we're going to focus on. That's where the focus is going to be. Because that's part of me balancing my duality. See, I'm over here trying to look left and right, trying to make sure I make eye contact with every camera as often as I possibly can, so that you can feel that I'm giving you my attention, but I want to look straight. I want to give you my full attention, 100% of my attention. I don't want it separated. I don't want it separated. So go to my YouTube. It's in the bio on TikTok. Go to the YouTube. Join the YouTube page. But that duality, the government, society, outside the matrix. Oh, he was asking what is woke. Yeah. But so I'm gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep going. Matter of fact, we're gonna keep adding to the process, adding to the program. We're in an age where there's a lot of confusion, and usually you do have a lot of confusion when you're leaving the Piscean age and we're moving into the age of Aquarius. During that 150 year process, a lot of confusion happens. A lot of confusion is going to happen. You just have to subscribe to the YouTube page. You don't have to join and become a member. Deborah decided she wanted to support the channel So she joined, she wanted to support the channel financially. So she became a member. But you can just subscribe to the YouTube page, hit the bell icon so that you get notifications. You don't have to become a member. And if you ever do want to support the channel, you can either do it by being a member financially. You can do it by becoming a member, or you can do a super chat at any time frame, whenever you feel like it. But you made me lose my train of thought. Age of Aquarius. There we go. So during that 150 so odd years of transitioning out of one age to the next age, and as you can see right now, we get bombarded with a lot of change. We get bombarded with a lot of cultural change, conditional change. One of those big changes is the fact that we are here right now because most of everybody on this live right now have walked away or are in the process of walking away from the traditional religions. We see a lot of people are walking away from traditional religions now, so more than ever. Why? Because we're moving into a different age. The minds are opening. The information is being revealed. The things that were hidden are coming into light, because the age of Aquarius is an age of enlightenment. According to hermetic science, we are moving into a golden age. According to the Aztecs and the Aztec calendar, the Mayan calendar, we went from the 13th Bantoon and went back to the first Bantoon, which is a golden age. But there's a process. It doesn't just overnight and everybody wakes up enlightened. It's not overnight and we're more in tune with the earth. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. Just like it's a process for each and every one of us individually to come to that age of enlightenment. That's why I always tell people, I've always avoided codifying everything that I think, everything I believe, everything I know, because I don't want it to turn into, I'm doing this because I'm following what Coach Renz is doing. I wanted to be like, Coach Renz, what I'm looking for, Coach Renz just guided me to find my own path for my own journey, because my own journey is my own journey. Yeah, I took that he said from the Kabbalion. I took that he said from the Tao. That stuff he said that he took from the Bible, maybe not so. That stuff he said that he took from the Nag Hammadi, maybe not. That stuff he took from Plato, okay. That stuff he took from Aristotle, all right. That's that Sigmund Freud thing right there, not so much. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be able to decipher and figure your own journey. But in order for you to do that, you got to get balanced. You got to get balanced. You're going to miss out on some great opportunities over these next 150 years. I don't know how old you are. Don't know how long you plan on living. But over these next 150 years, you're going to miss out on some stuff. And it's not even a whole 150. We already started the process. But you're going to miss out on some amazing things. We got, some indigo children out there. We got these kids who are born already at a higher level of enlightenment than their parents were, than most of the world, that see things, a bit differently, see things for more of how the universe is actually functioning, right? You got these indigo kids, they're born already in frequency. I'm gonna tell you, I used to always wonder why I'm so different from the rest of my family, and why that difference displayed itself at an incredibly early age. And I'm talking about incredibly early age. As most of you guys know, I started walking away from religion at age 9. But there were times earlier than that I was interested in things that my family was not interested in. I was interested in things that my culture, as a Southern male black child in Georgia, outside of Atlanta, living in the projects, I had interests and thought processes that were different than the average person, the normal person, what we would call normal in that environment. And I got ridiculed for a lot of it. Got ridiculed for a lot of it. And then here's the thing, it never bothered me. It never bothered me. Did I want, now I ain't gonna lie, did I have moments where I wanted to be like everybody else? Sure. That shit's hard. It's hard when, when you stand out differently, different from everybody. And not different in a way that everybody celebrates. When you stand out different, and it's a way that people don't celebrate. And it could be the most minor thing. I was a little kid, used to go out in the woods and just sit there in nature. I didn't know why, but I have I have a little cardboard box. I go sit down, I go put it down in nature, and I go sit down on it, right? And or I built me a cardboard clubhouse in the woods. Now, I mean, a lot of us did that, but I used to hang out at that. If my mom wouldn't have made me, I would have slept in that thing. I used to I didn't know I was doing grounding. I used to go and walk barefoot in the woods or in a stream or a creek. I didn't know it was grounding because I was just, I'm 6, 7 years old and I'm just feeling the earth. I didn't know I was grounding, but it was just a natural thing that came to me, because I was in frequency. I was in frequency. Didn't fully understand it, had to mature into it. So people are, we're in a time frame where that's what's going. The lounge the other day, last week, because me and her and I have had other, the fact that she was barefoot, and I just looked at her. I'm looking over there because I was talking to her there, and I was like, "You grounding today?" Like it was an automatic connection. You grounding today? I see that you're grounding today. So now anybody else walking here barefooted, come to my door barefooted, and she was just stopping by to say hi. She didn't walk fully in or nothing like that. Anybody else coming here barefoot, I'm like, hey, put your shoes on, put your shoes on. But I understood what she was doing. That happened to me when I walked away from religion. My family doesn't understand, but I'm okay with it. And they're not going to understand. They don't have, here's the beauty of it. They don't have to understand. They don't have to understand. Your journey is your journey alone. No one else can walk. Somebody could try to walk in your footsteps, or you could try to walk in their footsteps, but it will never be a perfect matchup. It will never be a perfect matchup. Why you tell them to put on their shoes? Because this is a place of business. This is a place of business, and no. When you walk in here, and it's also liability and insurance, because if a person walks in here and somebody dropped the ash, and I own a cigar lounge, if you don't know, Jay. And if somebody walks in here and step on a piece of ash and it burns their foot, that's liability. So that part. And then just basic hygiene. You go out, you ground in earth, nature, that's fine. This is not a natural floor. That's why we detox it every day. We detox it every day. Every day. But yeah. But I go out. I'm so jealous of my lady sometimes because she has more time to be home, and especially now that the trees are filling up and everything, and she literally fell asleep in the backyard, a couple of weeks ago when we had one of them. Georgia weather is bipolar. It could be 80 degrees one day and 40 degrees the next day. We had one of those days, and she fell asleep outside. Enjoying nature, feeling the earth energy. It's a beautiful thing. It's tropical. Yeah. Georgia, a guy made a comment yesterday that Atlanta is one of those places where you can have all 4 seasons in one day. And he was not lying. You can have all 4 seasons in one day. But you have to begin to embrace, if you want to be fully enlightened, if you want to be able to feel the universe, if you want to be able to feel nature, truly feel nature. I hear a lot of people say, yes, I walk in nature and I feel the breeze and Now, if you really want to feel it down to an elemental level, you have to be able to open your mind to such a degree that you become one with nature, right? Not for that moment, that fleeting moment that you have, but to be able to fully embrace it. Balancing yourself is how you do that. You think the lion has a problem hunting and killing the water buffalo? No. You think the water buffalo has a problem eating the grass? No. Drinking the water? Because grass has life. Grass is life. Water has life. It may not be on a conscious level that we may equate with the animal kingdom, but it's a conscious level that is at the plant, in the plant kingdom, at the plant level. That's what the law of correspondence teaches us, that there are conscious levels at every degree of life. But the water buffalo doesn't feel some kind of way about eating the grass, and neither does the grass feel some kind of way about being eaten. The grass knows that once it's eaten, it goes into the belly, digests, it comes back out, fertilizes the ground, allows for new life similar to itself to be manifested. It understands it's just a process. This is why when you come into a fullness of consciousness, you no longer fear death. You realize that there is no such thing as death, that the duality of life is energy transmutation, that you are constantly alive. You just change forms. Your energy just becomes something else. It's recycled. Yes, Debbie, it is recycled. And when you realize that, it frees you from this attachment to the physical plane, to earth. It frees you from thinking that this is it, or I got to get myself, right, and believe in this and believe in that, and celebrate this day or celebrate that day, and worship this deity and worship that deity. Otherwise, I'm going to be tormented for all eternity. The mind space of man has never been such that everybody believed that existed, that there was a hell. Literally, that there is a hell. Facebook is messing up. That's why you need to be over on YouTube. Get on over to YouTube. That's where all the lives are going to be. Let me say it one more time. From here on out, all lives will be only on YouTube starting Monday. Monday, 8 o'clock in the morning, going to do our Monday morning meditation on Monday. I'm going to let you guys join in on my meditations, right? My stretching, my meditating, my whatever philosophical reading that I do on Mondays. You guys are going to be able to be a part of that. We about to go full in on, digital information. I was telling the person yesterday who asked me about a digital package that I'm starting now. This is going to be a major portion of my lifestyle. It already is to a certain degree, but now it's going to be even bigger. I was expressing to my lady that I'm going to give even more time to this. Starting Monday. That's where religion had me in a chokehold, death. But I'm freeing myself of that. And that's why I'm going to be here more often. Because one of the biggest things, the biggest challenge that we have to overcome is this fear of what happens after we die. This fear that the world has placed on us. Coco also help you too. Did you see my video on Coco? Is that what you're referring to, Deborah? Yeah. I think you said you was gonna come to the lounge. I gotta remember that to hold you to it. But that fear of torment, pain, that desire to avoid pain, right? That's that thing. That's that thing that keeps us enslaved to religion, enslaved to government, enslaved to culture, because we have such a high degree of fear of death and losing in death that it makes it difficult for us to walk away from it. You know, what did I read earlier when he said that? But the sage holds the block complete, holding all things within himself. He preserves the great unity which cannot be ruled or divided. When you come into that unity of yourself, your fear cannot divide you. It cannot break you from that great unity. It was 11:11. I saw that too, Glow Green. It can't divide you from that unity. When you have that unity, outside people can't come in and divide you. You're not using just pieces of yourself. Because when you use pieces of yourself, and I'm not going to go into this, but I'm going to do another video later on the day about it. When you divide yourself in pieces, that's when you get Joe Biden's wife making that dumb statement that she made about inviting Iowa to the White House, because she's using pieces of herself. She's not in unity with herself. If she was in unity of herself, she would have never said that. I got multiple reasons as to why I think she said it, and I'm gonna talk about that in a different video. We might go live tomorrow. Tomorrow, I might even just say, forget it. We're gonna start tomorrow just on YouTube. And tomorrow, matter of fact, tomorrow, no, I can't, because I got a doctor's appointment at 10 o'clock. but I might do it at 8 o'clock tomorrow before I go to my doctor's appointment. But yes, that's what we're gonna do tomorrow around 8:30, 8:30. 8:30, 8:45. We're gonna do a short live before I go to my doctor's appointment. But she's out of unity because she's out of unity, she misses an awareness. She missed an awareness that people have when you're in sync with yourself, right? Because then you have one of the greatest leadership characteristics that we talked about yesterday. You have one of the greatest leadership characteristics, which is to know thyself and seek self-improvement, right? Know thyself and seek self-improvement, right? That's something that the Marine Corps taught tremendously throughout my entire Marine Corps career. If you don't know yourself, first you have to know yourself, and then you seek to improve yourself. You see, she doesn't know that she has, or she might know, but she doesn't know. Those remarks made it very clear. She doesn't know that she has that latent, naive racism working within her, which allowed for her to make that statement, not thinking about the consequences, the impact of that statement. I got a couple other theories as to why I think she made those statements, but it was a clear demonstration of her not knowing herself and not being aware of what everything that can happen. I taught my kids to measure your words. Measure your words. The reason why you measure your words, because your words are an indication of what you think and what you feel. So measure your words. When you measure your words, you realize, you contemplate, you recognize what impact these words can have on people and on yourself and on everything around you. What impact they can have on the frequency around you and the frequency that you're putting out, you're emanating. So you measure your words. She didn't measure her words. I've seen many people in here not measuring their words. I have a young man who, for a while, he's getting better now. And I call him a young man, even though he's older than me. But he was hardly ever measuring his words. And then when I started telling him about what his words indicate his thinking is, and he tried to say that that's not what he thinks, I reminded him, but your words, let me repeat to you the words that you speak. And because you're speaking these words, this is actually what the perception of you is. And if this is, and not only is that the perception, it's truly what you think in the deeper recesses of your brain. It's what you think in the trueness of your heart. And once he started realizing that, he's actually started getting better. Recently, he's gotten better. It's not so much of a male chauvinist. You know, he's not such a male chauvinist anymore. He's getting better. He's getting better. How you doing, Eugene? That's right. Time to think. Time to think. Eugene, Clinton, how y'all doing? Time to think. Time to think. Exactly. We got to think about what we do, about what we say. You can't just go out there and just say stuff, because you're saying what's really in you. Had a young lady on the podcast yesterday. It didn't matter how much logic I gave her and explained to her what she was thinking and how she was progressing would ultimately fail every relationship that she will ever be in. She wanted to hold strong to what she already thinks and already believes. It was on YouTube yesterday. It was, but see, Deborah, that's the thing. I have 2 other channels on TikTok and Facebook called The Art of Tantric Love. There's purely relationship-based channels. But this YouTube channel gets everything. That's why you got to be on YouTube. But you can go back and look at my other videos, look at the live from yesterday, and you'll be able to see that conversation. But the only reason I keep looking because I expect the Coca-Cola delivery guy to come around 12 o'clock. Got to get my Coke order in the day because I need some water and some tea. Right. She didn't want to get into the frequency of understanding that what she was saying would put her in a situation where no matter what man she encounters, he's either going to be lackluster to her standards, or a man of that standard would not be accepting of her thought process. You know, it just, so she's in a lose-lose situation. Lose-lose situation. Because she can't admit to herself. She don't know herself. And we have to know ourselves and constantly seek self-improvement. We have to improve. It's okay that you make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. That's why we have guilt. And that's why we have shame. Guilt and shame, one coming from the outside, the other we internalize. But it's the forgiveness of ourselves and the forgiveness of other people, recognizing that you made a mistake and then learning from that mistake to hopefully not repeat that mistake. That's growth. That's growth. You can't find a person who's never made a mistake. You can't find a person there. I guarantee that there is not one person on the planet to have ever lived that has not made a mistake. There is not one person who has never, ever, ever, ever made a mistake. Whether intentionally or naively, they've made a mistake. I don't know if naively is actually a word, but they've never made a mistake. There's not one person. Because mistakes is how we grow. Mistakes is how we learn. Mistakes is how we become better people. So if you cannot recognize how I wasn't in balance because I was too angry. I wasn't in balance because I was too loving. I was too loving. I've heard a lot of people say that one, I was so loving that people took advantage of me. People didn't appreciate it. And they took advantage of my love, and then they didn't treat me of my worth, of my value. I'm pretty sure we all have had some similar experience to that. So we can be too loving. We can be too nurturing. I've seen, not picking on, no, you know what? I'm going to do it both ways. I've seen women who are too loving and nurturing to their sons, and these jokers are growing up sorry sacks of shit. And I've seen men too loving, too nurturing to their daughters, and they're growing up these nose in the air, pretentious little, they ain't princesses. I've seen parents imprint things on their children that they're trying to imprint themselves on their children so much that they're out of balance. They're out of balance. I had a young lady, and her parents used to come to when I had the popcorn shop, would come in there, and she would the parents went to a HBCU. The daughter was going to a HBCU. The daughter proclaimed that she would never even contemplate dating a man who doesn't go to an HBCU, who didn't go to an HBCU. And I said, so if you're on your job, you meet a guy, he's great, he's perfect in every way, checks all your boxes, but he went to University of Georgia. She said she wouldn't date that man simply because he never went to a HBCU. And the parents backed it up because the parents had imprinted that on her. Right? Parents imprinted that on her. And that was her mindset. How do you have, why would you do that to your child? That's out of balance. That's out of balance. You know, what did the Tao say? Flowing through everything, it returns one to the first breath. Guiding everything, it returns one to no limit. When you embrace the fullness of you, you become limitless. You become limitless. You guys saw the movie Limitless, right? I hope y'all saw the movie Limitless. I love that movie Limitless. But one of the ideas in that movie Limitless is that this drug that this guy took allowed him to have full consciousness of his full self. As he continued to take the drug, he became more and more in fullness of his entire self, became connected to nature. His mind was completely wide open. He became limitless in his thoughts and his perceptions. He perceived the world completely differently than everybody else did, right? So the Tao is saying that when you unify the forces within, when they unite, you become limitless. You become limitless at that point. Exactly. It's a great movie, Deborah. It's a great movie. But you'll become limitless. Limitless. And is that not what that one of the reasons why that movie was so popular? Because don't lie. If that was a real pill and it didn't kill you, if that was a real pill, I'm sorry, you're right, Debbie. Sorry. Yeah, Debbie. Yeah, I got Debbie and Deborah. But if that was a real pill that didn't kill you, you got to go through all the downsides. If you got it to where the point where he worked all the bugs out, there's not one person who probably wouldn't. Most people would take that pill because we all want to become limitless. We all want that kind of access, right? We all want that kind of knowing. But it's a process that we can go through, that we can get to. That's a process we can go through so that we can get to that level, get to those levels. Some people will get to it faster than others. Some people, they will only get so far. They will still be moving. But if you think about the term limitless, there is no limit. There is no stopping point. There is no finality. There is no, I've reached it. I'm there. I've made it. I've gotten to the mountaintop. There is no mountaintop. It's a continuous journey. It's like looking at an open field of bounty, and the field continues no matter how far you walk, how far you go, how many steps you take, you never get to the end of it. But it's beautiful and bountiful the whole way. It's beautiful and bountiful the whole way. And it doesn't matter, you could be 2 miles behind the next person, but there's somebody who's 2 miles behind you. You walk your journey, your path. You unite you unite your shadow self with your light self. Your darkness with your light, your love with your hate. You unite yourself, and there are a million degrees in between. That's the law of polarity. There are millions of degrees in between, right? But you are your own self, and each one of us are individualized. Each one of us are individualized. None of you are going to become me, and I am not going to become any of you. Everybody has their own journey of their own self-fulfillment. The only caveat is that whatever you're doing cannot stop somebody else or inhibit somebody else from fulfilling their same journey. Y'all heard me say, I will say that 11 million times. I cannot do anything to move forward in my journey if it inhibits somebody else from being able to move forward in theirs. When we in some videos when we talk about sex magic, we talk about tantra. I cannot go practice tantra on somebody who it harms them to practice tantra. Meaning I cannot force somebody into a sexual relationship who does not desire to be in that relationship, no matter how much I want to be in it. Poor network here. That's why, Eugene, go over to my YouTube. Go over to the YouTube page. Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz on YouTube. That's from now on, that's where all lives are going to be anyway. Starting tomorrow, all lives are going to be there. Friday, I'm doing a live around 8:30 in the morning. Monday, I'm going to do a live around 8 o'clock in the morning. Around 8 o'clock in the morning. So you want to go to YouTube. There will not be any more lives on Facebook or TikTok. All of them will be on my YouTube channel. It's in the bio over there on YouTube. So like and share, but go over to YouTube. Subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you want to be in frequency with me, that's where I'm going to be. That's where I'm going to be. That's where I'm going to be. That's where we're going to get in frequency. That's where we're going to grow in this age of Aquarius. As we're moving into this age of Aquarius, we're going to know who we are. Some of y'all are striving for things, and those things that we're striving for is not good for you. It's going to take you out of balance. It's going to take you out of balance. I was, and I'm very transparent. That's why a lot of my stuff is I was talking to or I was having a conversation. I tell you guys about my life a lot. But I was having a conversation. And in that conversation, I came to a realization that from start to finish, from cradle to the grave, well, it ain't going to be to the grave, from cradle into right now, I have never, ever had an occupation where I was truly, truly in love with that occupation. I've had some that I like. I like being a personal trainer. I like owning this cigar lounge that I'm in. I like the cigar lounge. Popcorn was like a love-hate kind of relationship. When I had the sunglass watching candle shops, I ain't like it. Didn't like it at all. Spent way too much time. I had to be in that dang mall all day. Didn't like it. I love transactions. I do love making transactions. But when I was an IT guy, did it for the money. Had a family of 6. Did it for the money. Never liked it. Never. Not one day did I like it. So I've never had an occupation that I was like truly, truly just, I could do this every day. You know how they say that? Find something you can do for free. Find something you can do every day. What do I do for free, y'all? What do I do for free? I come on here and we talk. I come on here and I try to help people to understand how they can make their lives greater, become more in sync with themselves, find peace, love, joy, happiness. This right here, this is my freedom. This is my love. This is something I can do whether I make money or not. Now, because I'm a transactional person, I do love the transactions. I will do things that will be financially based on these. That's why the young lady who, and I don't know why I can't think of her name, her digital name, and she wants me to create this package, this digital package. Yeah, there will be a fee for that. Packages, books, things like that. Of course, they're going to be a fee. certain classes, there has to be a fee. I mean, especially when it comes to business stuff. All this knowledge comes at a price. Came at a price for me, gonna have to come at a price for y'all. But just to get on here and just be able to talk to y'all, and that's why the donations. I appreciate the donations so much, because I don't ask for them. I don't ask for them. That's why I appreciate the memberships on YouTube so much, because I don't ask for them. That's another reason why everybody gonna have to come to YouTube for the lives and stuff, because for me, those people are demonstrating more love and charity. Nothing against the Facebook people. If you family on Facebook, family on TikTok, that's fine. But those platforms just don't provide really a good way for that. And like I said, I want to just look at one camera. So Eugene, your name is Ray on YouTube. It reminds me of, there's a guy who comes here in the lounge. He has a different name on Facebook than the actual name than his name here, and a different name on every other platform. So it's funny to me. And it's hot in here. It's hot. It's hot. Let me turn the air conditioner a little bit lower and unlock. Well, no, it's not time to unlock that front door yet. Oh, it's at 73. But let me change this real quick. I just turned this fan on above my head. It's about time for me to light my cigar too. But yeah, I never, this is what makes me happy. This is where my freedom is. We're moving from fall to spring at this time of day. Exactly. And this time of day is hot. My body don't, got to do the adjustment. Y'all know I got to wear my button down. A guy was, and see, being yourself, your fullness of self. Guy had something to say, because I went to the beach this last weekend, and I was on the beach with my button down shirt and my fedora on. And he was like, no matter where Renz go, he still got to wear that, even on the beach. I was comfortable. It was 70 something. It was like in the 70s on that beach. It wasn't like it was 90 degrees. I wore some Converse into the lounge one time, and people had a fit. They're not used to me wearing Converse. I don't wear tennis shoes, hardly ever. I didn't know how to respond, because I'm being me. I'm me. Right. By 2 o'clock, it is like summertime in Atlanta. I'm being me. I gotta be me. Y'all gotta be you. Dress how you want to dress. Live how you want to live. Many of y'all are in occupations for the sake of being able to maintain a lifestyle, and you're probably not even enjoying the lifestyle as much as you would like. Many of you need to change your life in order to embrace your duality. Some of y'all need to be living in another country. Some of y'all need to live in another state, need to live in a small town. Some of y'all need to live in a big city. Some of y'all need to live somewhere else. Some of y'all need to get out of your house and get into a condo, or get out of the condo and get into a house. Some of y'all need to go and live on a farm. Some of y'all need to go live up in the mountains, go live by a river. It's nice. People will say, oh, I want to live by the beach. Oh, I want to live by the beach, because when you go visit the beach, you enjoy your visitation, but you don't know if you really want to live in a beach area. You want to walk around and have that taste of salt on your lips most of the time. The different animals that you got to do. Go live in Florida. Do you want to have lizards all the time? Do you want to have snakes all the time? And you say, I want to live by a beach. I want to live by a beach, because you go visit the beach. I ended up living in Tampa, Florida, because every time I visited Tampa, Florida, I enjoyed my visit. But then when I got stationed in Tampa, Florida, I hated it. Living somewhere and visiting somewhere are two different things. But some of y'all do need to change where you live, because you're living based on the conditioning of where you were born, the family you was born into, or a job that forced you. Exactly. You have to live in a location that resonates with your soul. Resonates with your soul. Let me tell you, for me, a place that resonates with my soul, and I know I'm asking for a lot, I need a beach because I gotta have that. I gotta have the ocean water. I need waterfalls. I need mountains, and I need forest. I need those four things, right? I gotta have those four things. So, like, as much as I love Rwanda, Rwanda is landlocked. I can't do it. I can't do it. And then it doesn't have the forest and stuff. It does, but not the way I want. Not in close proximity, where on any given day I can visit one or the other. You know, I need to be able to walk along a river, find a waterfall, walk into a lot of greenery. So you know, when I lived in Florida, there are no mountains in Florida. There are no waterfalls in Florida. You know, in the Tampa, middle, central Florida area, there's none of that in West Tampa. You know, so it has the I like saying names. Like Lydia said on TikTok, it has to resonate with your soul. You can't get into balance if it ain't resonating with your soul, if your environment doesn't resonate with your soul. We got too many telephone and electrical wires around here, messing up my magnetic field around my body. You know, too much concrete. Need to walk around on some dirt, feel some earth. Georgia, Atlanta is pretty cool in the fact that, you know, I can go up to North Georgia any day and I can find waterfalls and I can find forests and all that sort of thing. I got that part. It's great for that. But I got to drive 4 hours to get to a beach. Now, unless I buy me an airplane, a small one, where I can fly down to Savannah and back, fly to Charleston and back in a day. But then I got to work too hard to do all that. And I don't want to work that hard. I don't want to work that hard. I was checking to that you were fully dressed. He's still my guy. Yeah. Okay, Angie, you got us on YouTube. Cool. Great. Keep on going over to YouTube. Everybody go to my YouTube channel. There will be no more lives on TikTok and Facebook. Y'all will still get videos, but all the lives will be on YouTube from now on. So YouTube, Coach Renz, Why I Left Religion, and you'll find me. Liddy said for her, the ocean is the closest thing to God. I understand. And I gotta have the rivers. I gotta have the lakes, the ponds, the forests, the trees, the ants. I know that was a weird one, but the ants. I've always had a fascination with ants. You gotta have the ants. Thankfully, ants are pretty much everywhere in the world. You know, Deborah says she wants to live on a farm. Exactly. You sound like my daughter Simone. Simone wants to live on a dang on farm. I can't do it, but sure. Mm-hmm. And Deborah, it was 70-something degrees out there on that beach this past weekend. I wasn't getting in that water. It was cold. It was cold in that water. You haven't been able to find me on Facebook. Don't worry about Facebook, Lydia. Go to YouTube. Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz on YouTube. It should be in the bio. In my bio on TikTok, the link should be in the bio on TikTok. I think. I'm quite sure of it. If it's not, I'll put it there. But it should be in the link. But it's Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz on YouTube. But yeah, I was on that beach. I had my button down. And I had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. Even the night, so the pictures you saw, the nighttime pictures, even in those nighttime pictures, the wind was blowing hard. It was cold. But we had the blanket that we was laying on the ground. We had the blanket over top of us. We had the coats on, had my hat, had my cigar, and the night sky. This is another reason why the beaches and places like that are so beautiful, away from the cities, are so beautiful. The night sky. I have to have that night sky where you look up and you see all those made up constellations. You see the moon, you see the other planets that are out, Mars and Jupiter, or you see those most often. Venus, you see all those. You can see, Sirius, Osiris's belt. You get to see all of that. You know what I mean? And it's clear and it's beautiful. Got to have that night sky. Because you got to be, think about what Lydia said. You got to be in a place where your soul, what was the word she used? Resonate. What is resonating? To resonate with something is to be in frequency with something. When a person sings and they break the glass, it's because they found the resonant frequency of the glass. You want to be, in order to get balanced, in a place where you resonate with that environment, with that culture. You felt that in your chest that time? It hit your heart chakra. It hit your heart chakra. Oh, I see the planets. I go out and look at the sky every week. I look at the sky every night. But last night, it was cloudy. You gotta let that frequency resonate with you. Resonate with you. In order for you to find this, get this duality, every aspect of your life has to get in balance. We live in a culture, okay? For the most part, you got to have some money. What's your number, though? What most people think is their number is not really their number. It's not really their number. Most people say, oh, if I had $1 million, I can live the rest of my life. I'm good. Or if I'm making, $120,000 a year, that's what I need to make in order for me to, get in balance, or for me to live the kind of life I want to live. The number's not really as high as most people think. It's not really. You have to first decide, what does life look like, and then reverse engineer it. Reverse engineer it. Yeah. I know people who they've moved to the beach, but hardly go to the beach. I live in Atlanta. The majority of people who live in Atlanta have never really explored Atlanta or explored Georgia. People don't explore where they live for the most part. They wait till they go on vacation to explore. You got to live where you're going to explore life, where you're going to embrace life. Right? Like, live in a place where you have time. Time is the thing that you want, because time is the thing that gives you the opportunity to explore yourself, to get to know yourself. And the more you get to know yourself, the easier you'll come into balance with yourself. As you come into balance with yourself, you come into balance with the universe. You get in balance with the universe, and you start utilizing cause and effect, and knowing how to raise the vibration so that you can move along the pole to the side that you want. You living that life. You start attracting the right friends, the right lovers, the right, business partners, the right work environment. Everything starts coming into your life that's in frequency, that resonates with you. And next thing you know, guess what? You happy every day. You happy every day. Black women are said to be too masculine. A lot of that is survival defense. And I would agree 100%. Black women have to go through some difficult things from the 60s on up. Well, even prior to the 60s, but really from the 60s, when Black women started being pushed into the workforce even more so, and started the quota laws and all that stuff started allowing Black women to be able to, rise up economically. But of course, the government was like, you got to get rid of that Black man if you want to rise up. But of course, women, they were concerned about taking care of their children. So it happened. And women gained that opportunity to make more money. And we talked about this yesterday in the live. He who makes the goals doesn't make the rules. But because that's the mindset of people, that's where, because on average, Black women had started getting better opportunities to make more money, it is not uncommon to find a black woman that makes more money than a black man. And if she thinks, and oftentimes that woman would think that she is the masculine because she makes more money. Money doesn't determine your level of masculinity. If that's the case, they wouldn't have to do all this, push all these other agendas in order to emasculate black men. Black men would have been emasculated because we just make less money than the average other man on the planet, well, in this country. You wouldn't have to emasculate us any other way if money was the true determining factor of masculinity. But we've been convinced that money determines your masculinity. And that's why we're going to have a lot of men and a lot of women who are single like a champ, single fathers and single mothers, because both people can't operate masculine. Both people have to find a balance in their masculine and feminine, and then one person has to operate more so in the masculine than the other. And it is more of a natural thing. Not a 100%, because there are some women that got high levels of testosterone, and there are some men that got high levels of estrogen. And we talked about alpha, beta, delta, Charlie's, alpha, beta, Charlie's, deltas yesterday as well, a little bit. I think we got started in it, but then the conversation went left. But when you got a true alpha man, his monetary amount doesn't make him alpha. It does not. There are plenty of Charlies and deltas who make 6 figures. Plenty of betas who make 6 figures. Money is not the measure. How a man leads, how a man conducts himself, those leadership traits that I talked about early, well, the leadership traits that I talked about in that video. So y'all got to go back and watch that video yesterday, especially towards the last. It's a 3-hour video, but especially in that last hour. Those leadership traits and those leadership characteristics, that's what makes a good leader, whether it's male or female, and that's what makes a good alpha. You know, judgment, dedication, integrity, justice, all those things make it. Dependability, those things make you, you know, whether or not you are a good leader or a good man, not how much money you make. And you got to get balanced. And you have to be a balanced individual to be able to exude those characteristics. Funny old world yesterday, we talked, the talk was, what is the pyramid's purpose on YouTube? I think you might like it. Okay, I'll check that out. I did see something pop up on my YouTube scroll that said something like, what was the real purpose of the pyramids? If they say anything other than a power plant, I got questions. When it comes to embracing my masculine side when it comes to embracing my masculine side without, I might have missed something else. Oh, as a defense, when it comes to embracing my masculine side without emasculating a man, that is hard for a lot of women. See, when you go to work, you can embrace your masculine. When you come home with your man, embrace your feminine. Especially if your work requires you to be more masculine. Like if you're in an authoritative position at your work, then you're going to operate more in your masculine than you would if you were in a submissive position at work. You're in a more submissive position at work, you operate more in the feminine. And that's both for male and female. But when you get home, the dynamics of your home are different. You know, when you get home, if you have a good leader at home, then you work with that leader. Both of y'all are leading, but there is no such thing as co-leadership. Like you cannot, as a Marine, when we go to war, you don't have, we got fire team leaders, we got squad leaders, but we got a platoon leader. We only got one platoon leader. We may have 3 or 4 squad leaders. We may have 12, 15 fire team leaders. But we got one platoon leader, one. And then out of each individual, and then even though in a battalion you got multiple platoon leaders, you got one battalion commander, one, and everything feeds up to that one. This is why Patton gets the glory for everything that his army did. I forgot what his infantry battalion was, because he led, but he knew the capabilities of each leader beneath him and was able to put them in the right space for success. You see, a man who's operating as a good leader will know how to support his woman and put her in the best position for her to achieve her dreams and for her to be successful without having to fight her, without having to come in with a heavy hand. And when that is happening, you see the balance of masculine and feminine demonstrated in a societal household, in a culture. And when the culture does that, the community is strong. When the community is strong, the state is strong. When the state is strong, the country is strong. But that has to even start at the top, with the leader at the top, to be able to embody that and pull and let that flow downward. As the Tao was saying, when the block is divided, it becomes something useful, and leaders rule with a few pieces of it. That's how most of our leadership, they're just ruling with pieces. This is why we have Democrats and Republicans and Green parties and Libertarians and everything else, because they got pieces. They got pieces. That's all they got is pieces. They got just pieces. But the sage holds the block complete, holding all things within himself. He preserves the great unity which cannot be ruled or divided. Cannot be ruled or divided. This country is very divided, incredibly divided. It is fractured into so many pieces because the leadership is fractured into pieces. But that doesn't mean you have to be fractured into pieces. That doesn't mean your home has to be fractured into pieces. Because when it is, that's when it doesn't work. That's when it doesn't work. So how do we do some of these things? We got to take, this is why Monday, only on YouTube, Monday, we will do our meditations and we will have our philosophical conversations on Monday mornings with meditations dedicated to us finding balance, for us to come into balance with ourselves, to know ourselves deeper, to know what we fear and how to deal with that fear, to know what we are ashamed of and how to recognize the mistake and forgive ourselves, how to know what we feel guilty about that other people have been pushing on us, to know how to love, to know how to speak correctly and truthfully of who we are, to know how to see things are all connected. Everything that we do is connected. Everything, every step you take in your life, every breath you breathe, every word you speak, everything is connected. Every place you go, every interaction that you have, everything is connected into you, into who you are, into the life that you're going to have. And to be able to recognize those connections and then take the right steps, make the good decision. And if we don't make a good decision, how to come back, look up into the camera. So I'm working on 3 cameras. That's why I'm telling everybody this is going to be the last live on Facebook and TikTok, because every live will from now on will be only on YouTube. Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz on YouTube. I understand, Virgo. I've been looking right here this whole time, and that's why I won't have to do this. All right. But we're gonna spend that time on Mondays doing that on YouTube only, and every other live. Now we're still gonna have our lessons. We're still gonna continue with our why I left. What time will you see me tomorrow? Let's see. I know I've got it. It'll probably be around 8:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Right. It's only going to be for about an hour because I got an appointment, I think at 10:15, 10:30. I mean, where I got to go is on 15 minutes away from my house, but I got to pick up something on my way. But so it's going to be a short one. We're still going to talk about current events, current things that's happening in the world. We're still going to learn about new discoveries that are found archaeologically. That's why we're going to add more days. We're adding more days to the lives. We're going to do more days to the lives. We're going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, a different live. Tuesday is still going to be, for right now, our What's Wrong with the Bible series on Tuesdays. Wednesdays is still going to be relationship. Thursdays is still going to be something like what we're doing today. Friday, I don't know. Only days that have a definite theme to them are Mondays with meditations and frequencies, vibration. This Monday is going to be a meditation. Tuesday is going to be our series of What's Wrong with the Bible. Wednesday is going to be relationship. Thursdays and Fridays, ain't no telling what it's going to be about. This is the only YouTube channel that I operate with. I mean, I got other YouTube channels for like the cigar page, but for this, that's the YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube only. It's only this channel. That's why if you were to go through this YouTube channel, you'll see all the lives that I've done for relationships on this YouTube channel. But like TikTok, I've done videos for relationships. They're never on this channel. They're 99% of the time, they're not on this channel. They're all on a different channel. Same thing with this Facebook page. There's a totally different Facebook group for relationships called The Art of Tantric Love. But YouTube gets everything. YouTube gets everything. As I said, YouTube is where I just want to look at one camera, but that's where the greatest. Nothing against anybody on any other channel. This is where you found me. But YouTube has that's what people support the channel more so. And that's where I'm gonna be, and that's where I want to focus on. What's right with the Bible? Not if you follow me. That's not what the title should be. Although, when things are of good, if something is good from the Bible, we use it. I don't have a problem using something good from it. Right? Not at all. Not even slightly. I've actually used something from it in this one. When we was talking about this one. Oh, you mean a topic? Well, what I do with that is I sprinkle it in. Like when we're going through the What's Wrong with the Bible, we're just reading chapter and verse and going through it. If something is right in something that we're reading, I'll expound on how that part is good. That's something you should take. Like the Bible does tell you to measure twice and cut once. In the same way we were talking about measuring your words, that is something that's good. We should do that. Before you start a business, measure twice. Before you buy a house, measure twice. Before you buy a car, measure twice. Before you decide where you want to live, measure twice. Like, don't go to a place on vacate as a tourist don't go to a place as a tourist and investigate it to see if that's a place that you want to live. Go there. So like, don't go on the weekend, go on a Monday and stay till Thursday. Go see how traffic flows. Go see how people live their day-to-day life. What it's like to be there on a regular day. Go there and check it out like that to make sure that that's a place you. So measuring twice is something that is universally good. Husband, love your wife as you what is it? Husband loves your wife and you are her covering. That's a good universal thing. Because I know not a man to hate of his own flesh. Good universal thing. Judge not least however you judge is how you will be judged. Universal thing. It's a good thing. Don't go around judging people. That's why it amazes me. I get the Christian people come on like, you're stupid, you're an ass, you're an idiot, calling me names and all this kind of stuff. And do I go to them and call them names? But I would be right in doing that because that's what that book says. However, whatever method they come at me, I should come back at them the same way. Turn the other cheek? Hell no. Throw that one in there. Hell no. Hell no. This is why we have to have that duality. You come and hit me on my left cheek, I'm going to punch you square dead in your mouth. Because if you're hitting me on my left cheek, that means I need to defend myself because you're trying to take away my liberties of living a happy, prosperous life. You're trying to take away my liberties of being healthy, of not having a swollen face, of broken bones. You're trying to take from me. You're trying to injure me, to harm me. You may be trying to harm my family. So I'm not turning a cheek. I saw this guy talking about the Trump people, the whole thing going on with Trump. And he gave a warning. The black guy in the leather jacket, he gave a warning. He said, look, y'all show up and want to act a fool, we ready for you. He ain't turning no cheek. No. But that's embracing all aspects of yourself. You know, black people especially have been trained to be the most forgiving people. Let's just forgive and let's just let's keep backing up. Let's keep backing up. Let's keep backing up. Hell no. Embrace that part of you that stands strong and firm. Embrace that part of you that says, I'm not taking this bullshit no more. I'm not going to allow you to take advantage of me. I'm not going to allow you to disproportionately police me, disproportionately put me in, incarcerate me, to disproportionately pay me. Hell no. Not doing that. Find that person, that part of you. That part of you has to live just as much as the part of you that is forgiving, that is loving, that is considerate of other people. If somebody is not considerate, I show tremendous amount. I know I'll be cutting myself off in the middle of sentences, which I got to work on stop doing that. I know that I show people a tremendous amount of consideration. Before I do certain things, before I do most things, I have a tendency to consider how what I'm doing is going to affect someone else, right? But I gotta plug this power cord in. But what I won't do is continue to show people consideration who don't show me any consideration. Ooh, I'm gonna take this off. If you can't show me the same type of consideration I show you, you got to go. You don't deserve my consideration. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't one blessed thing wrong with saying that if you can't consider me as much as I consider you, no. You know? Always show consideration. But you got to consider, but if you can't show me it back, you're not getting it from me. He said, all right then, shawty. Peace up. A-Town down. Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate that, Deborah. I'm still looking for Deborah. I live in Atlanta. Deborah lives in Atlanta. She's been lying to me about coming to the cigar lounge. We're gonna see. Especially, I think, Deborah, you wanted to come on one of them special nights, I believe. If that's the case, Deborah, can you go back and look at this if you're already gone? Come on over here Saturday night around 9 o'clock, 9:30. But you gotta embrace that part of you. You definitely do. Definitely do. So look deep into yourself. That's one of the things of meditating. But for me, I always have to go beyond meditating. If not this week, but last week, if you saw the relationship, you guys on Facebook and TikTok wouldn't have saw it because you're not on the right channel. On my YouTube channel, there's a video where we talked about how to grow together in a relationship. And for me, I don't just sit up here and just talk about stuff. I give you exercises to do. Matter of fact, the sheet is still over here. Hold on. So like 2 weeks ago, when we talked about how to grow together, YouTube people are going to remember this chart. YouTube people remember this chart. Facebook, the way I got TikTok set up is kind of wonky. They'll remember this chart. This chart was an exercise that I showed people of how they can grow together, how to look deep inside themselves and look inside and gain understanding between them and their partner, so that they can recognize what each person is thinking as far as the relationship. When one of the benefits of doing something like this is that you get to recognize what you think about your partner and what you think about yourself in this relationship, what your partner thinks about you and what they think about themselves in this relationship. What do each one of you believe is distracting you within this relationship, so that you can then have that deeper conversation and be able to work together to grow. You see what I'm saying? So when we do these types of shows, it's not just, when people are just running their mouth. We went over my financial budget of how I do finances. And so that in a relationship, you can build deeper finances. When you look at things like this, you learn more about yourself. And that's how we find balance, is by learning more about who we are. And the more we know about ourselves, then the better we can create balance within ourselves. And then we can have balance within our relationships. I'm supposed to open the door right now. It's 12:08. Let me go open this door. Give me a second. Unlock the door. Because I missed my Coca-Cola delivery last week. Can't miss it this week. But yeah, so we're gonna get ready to get out of here. Unless anybody got some questions. We're at the 12 o'clock mark. 12 o'clock is when primary lesson done with. But if we don't have any questions or anything like that, statements, we're gonna go ahead and call it a day. But let me reiterate. All lives will now only be on YouTube. All lives will be on YouTube. What's up, Coach King Malik? All lives will only be on YouTube starting tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do a live around 8:30. Right? But all lives will be on YouTube. No more on Facebook and no more on TikTok. So go over to my YouTube channel, Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz. Monday mornings, around 8 o'clock, 8:30, we're going to do our Monday morning meditations. We're going to get into the right frequencies. And it's going to be at my home in my meditation room, not in my cigar lounge, because I got all my meditation bowls are at home. Not going to bring those over here. I got my travel bowl with me. Monday morning, we're going to get ready for the week, get our frequency right every week, working with the phases of the moon, working with incense. We're going to stretch our bodies, get our energy flowing. The way the military has beat my body down, y'all going to be stretching at a greater degree than I will be able to. I can tell you that right off the bat. So don't look at me like I can fold this body up, because I can't. But we're going to get better. We all going to get better. And we're going to start our week in the right frequency. Matter of fact, I'm going to start having this bowl with me on every video, so that we can always be in the right frequency. Get that right vibration going. So every Monday, that's what we're doing. Tuesdays, 10 o'clock, team with our series, What's Wrong with the Bible. Wednesdays, we talk about relationships. See, TikTok and Facebook, y'all haven't been getting the relationship videos because they're on YouTube, and then they're on a different TikTok and Facebook channel. I'm going to let those people know that we're not going to be over there anymore with lives. We're only going to be on YouTube. So I look forward to it. Doesn't that just resonate with you? Getting into the right frequency. When we do that, you got your bowls too. It's a must have, exactly. When you do that, and you could be in a negative environment, you get that singing bowl going, and it just hits you in different chakras, and your energy just changed the energy. It was one time in here, these jokers was getting on my nerves. I had to hit the bowl and start doing it, and they all just stopped. They all just stopped. And then I started a whole new conversation that changed the energy of the room. Change the energy of the room. Do it all the time. We able to do that. We embrace our duality. You begin to be able to manifest everything you want in your life. But the thing about it is that you manifest the real things that you want in your life. A lot of people run around like it was a full moon last night, and I think it's a full moon tonight, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm doing my full moon ritual because I want a 4,000 square foot house." And there's absolutely nothing in their cause and effect that's going to generate them that 4,000 square foot house. They are saying that that's what their law of mentalism. They're using the law of mentalism, the secret of manifesting. They're trying to use that during this full moon. And no, man, what is your true thought? What do you truly desire? Like, the next time I move, I don't want a house as big as the house that I'm in now. I damn sure don't want 3 floors. Them steps. Woo! These knees ain't built for them steps. But see, when I first got that house, my mind was like, oh, I want to make sure that my kids, when they come over, they got places, they got room. When I had folks over, they got room. Why was I getting a house built for other people? This house, I should never have gotten the house that I'm in. It needed to be a ranch and smaller. Actually, there was a ranch I was looking at, but I decided, let me get all this other space. I need all this other space. And granted, I utilize all the space. Let me get this space. But I can't stand them damn steps. Can't stand them steps. I will have minimum steps in my next house. 1 flight max. 1 flight max. And it need to be a short flight, like 5 steps. No, it ain't gonna be 5. But you know what I'm saying. But yeah, so before I go, I want to read this because I was going to use the Kabbalion today. But when I walked in the door and I saw the dial and it just opened, I opened it up because I was thinking about this duality and the unity that you got to have. And I just opened it up, and verse 28 was the first. It just opened up the verse 28. Even on the other side of the page with verse 29, I didn't even read verse 29. I don't even know what verse 29 is talking about. But verse 28 of the Tao. And remember, the Tao is not a religion. Taoism is not a religion. It's a philosophy. Taoism doesn't tell you to worship any deity or that there are certain rituals. All Taoism is saying is that these are things you need to understand about yourself and the universe in order to get into the flow of the way, get into the flow of the universe. But verse 28, hold your male side with your female side. Hold your bright side with your dull side. Hold your high side with your low side. Then you will be able to hold the whole world. When the opposing forces unite, within there comes a power abundant in its giving and unerring in its effect. I messed that part up. Let me reread it. When the opposing forces unite within, There comes a power abundant in its giving and unerring in its effects. Flowing through everything, it returns one to the first breath. Guiding everything, it returns one to no limit. Embracing everything, it returns one to the uncarved block. When the block is divided, it becomes something useful, and leaders rule with a few pieces of it. But when the sage holds the block complete, holding all things within himself, he preserves the great unity which cannot be ruled or divided. Your male and your female side, hold them together. Your bright and your darkness, hold it together. Yes, your high and your low, hold it together. You'll be able to hold the whole world of yourself together in unity. When you unite, the power is abundant and it's unerring. It returns you to when you took your first breath, before you were conditioned, before society got its hands in you, its meat hooks in you, and told you who you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to live. It guides you to a point where you are unlimited in who you can be, how you can function in the universe. It embraces and returns you to the uncarved block where you're not in pieces. People live their lives on pieces, just pieces of yourself, trying to live a complete life, but you just got pieces. You're an unfinished puzzle trying to see the big picture, and you can't see the big picture. You can't come into unity. You can't come into unity with your community or other people. You can't have those great relationships because you're using pieces of the block. Whereas the sage holds the block complete, preserving the great unity of yourself so that no inside or outside forces can then divide you, separate you, can take away from your happiness, take away from your joy, take away from you being able to live your life in the peace and joy that you have decided that is for you. And recognizing that your unity, your journey is your own. You don't have to have what the neighbor has because the neighbor is unhappy with the amount of work they got to put in to have what they have. They may have the car, but don't enjoy it. They may have a mountain house, but don't enjoy it. They may have a beach house, but don't really enjoy it. Instead of just having a beach house, you just have a house at the beach. It may not be as grand as their house at the beach, but you're there every day. They're there a few weekends a year, a week here and there. You ground every day. You feel the breeze every day. You hear the ocean waters every day. Whether it's up in the mountains and you walk to the waterfall every day. You have peace and tranquility every day, where they only have it in spurts because they're too busy working jobs that they don't want to have, dealing with people they don't want to deal with, dividing themselves up into pieces so that they can have some moments of continued peace and joy and happiness. But when you come into a trueness and hold your unity and your light side and dark side, and you truly live in a life that you know that makes you happy for your journey, you have it daily. And when you have it daily, you are a happier person. You are a healthier person. You are a more loving person. You give better instructions. You lead better. You guide your family better. You do everything better in your life because you have balance in your masculine, your feminine, your light, your dark, your high, your low, in every aspect of who you are. And that's the point. That is the point. So we're gonna almost end it right there. Angie said maybe we could talk about grounding. I love the toil in the soil. I love to just walk in the soil. I don't want to toil, but I know the meaning. I know the colloquialism. And we will do that on. I don't like the cold. I'll tell you right now, I don't like the cold. So if it's a Monday morning and it's cold outside, we will not be outside. The only time I like the cold is at the end of my shower. I will run cold water over my body at the end of a shower. Beyond that, me and the cold is not friends. But grounding is a very important part of you connecting with the earth. Every one of us have our own magnetic field that's around our bodies. But we got so many power line, and we eat so much, and some of the food we eat, and all this electricity that we're around, our magnetic field is thrown out of sync. Grounding is one way that we can get our magnetic field in sync with the earth's magnetic field. We can draw energy from the earth. And I will tell you this, depending upon where you live, you're able to draw even more energy. That's a whole discussion about ley lines, which are energetic lines that traverse the entire planet, and certain areas have stronger ley lines. Now, cities are generally built, if you look at most cities, they are built on connecting ley lines. Where ley lines intersect, there's more energy, which is why people gravitate towards these cities, these particular areas. But we are destroying those areas left and right with all our industrializations that we're doing. But you can still go, even in cities, like to go to the top of Stone Mountain, take off your shoes and ground yourself. That's a big ass piece of granite that's sticking out of the ground. To go through meditate on that mountain and ground yourself in that mountain, because the granite goes deep into the earth. You can find more energy and more peace through that, but you got to train yourself for that. You have to let go of a lot of your mental blocks in order to do that. It's cool. Most people can just go outside, ground, put their feet in the ground, walk around on it, meditate, pray, whatever you do, and you feel some energy. But if you really want to feel the earth, if you really want to get deeply energized, you really have to open your consciousness. I like to use chakras because they're easy to understand, but you really have to open your chakras up to truly, truly ground deep and to come in unity. These guys mess with me yesterday. They was messing with me because it's this, every time we sit outside the lounge, it's I always say it's the same one, but it's obviously not the same one because the same one is not alive year to year to year. But this monarch butterfly, a monarch butterfly, 80% of the time when we sit outside, will fly up to me and land on me when we sitting outside. And I was explaining to them that happens more often to me because I have spent the time being rooted with the earth, being connected to the earth. And we had a whole nother conversation about some other stuff that for them, they can't connect to the earth as well as I connect to the earth. And it's because I've taken the time. It takes time. It takes discipline and patience and an opening of your chakras to releasing of all those conditional things to be able to do that. But you start wherever you start and you grow from wherever that point is until you get to where you want to be, to where it's the never ending. Just like the Tao said, there is no limit. You keep going. So grounding is a very important, and we will be on some of these Mondays, we will be outside, either in my backyard or my front yard or side yard, and we will do some grounding. We're going to feel that earth. We're going to pull that earth energy, So, and these bowls help with that. So before I go, I want to thank everybody for joining me here on TikTok, Facebook. Last time this live is going to be on Facebook and TikTok. You guys will still get videos, other videos, but it won't be the lives. YouTube, you're going to get them. My YouTube page is Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz, and you'll be able to get all the lives there, whether we're talking about relationships or spiritual things or, deconstruction of religions and other facts and things like that. And we're going to have a great time. It's going to be great. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to do even more shows instead of just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going to find some time each day, each weekday to keep on ramping this up. So I need you guys to like it. I need you guys to like it. I need you guys to share it. I need you guys to like it. I need you guys to share it. And another thing that that I'm promising you guys, unless somebody has something actually beneficial to the conversation, we're going to ignore those people who has nothing beneficial to our conversation, because these channels are designed for people who have walked away from traditional religion, people who have decided they want to deconstruct from traditional religion. So we do not care what other people say in their commentary about if we're going to hell and we wrong and ain't nothing wrong with this and that. We don't care. We don't care because we're not going to let their energy affect ours. We use the law of cause and effect. We are the causation. We do. We do that. We do it. No one else is. We're going to minimize the amount of other people's causations affect us, right? Those people will be, as in the one of the great black classic, "Bye Felicia," is what they're going to be to us, because we're going to be in frequency. We're in frequency with the universe. We're in frequency with this coming of the age of Aquarius, this golden age, the return to the first Bantum. So we don't care. We're going to learn how. I see so many, you scroll through and you see people on these lives, on all these channels, and all they're doing is arguing and building up all this angst and this negative energy. We ain't got time for that. We don't have time for that no more. We're going to let those things go. We're going to let those things go. We're going to let those people go. If they decide to come on here and they want to get all jacked up in their energy, we'll let them, and we will ignore them. When I see that if somebody's on one of these things and y'all going back and forth with them, I'm going to remind you, hey, don't let that person distract you. Don't let that person take away your frequency, your resonance. Stay in resonant frequency, because all they're doing is trying to force you to conform to what they believe so that they can feel more confident and comfortable in their belief. It's a person who's lacking. They're lacking. And we don't want to deal with people who are lacking. We're not going to deal with those who are lacking, because those who have lack will bring lack onto you. What's the old saying? If you hang around 9 broke people, you about to be number 10. You hang around 9 people with bad energy, with negative energy, you about to become number 10. So we're not doing that. We're going to stay in frequency. We're going to stay in good resonance. We're not going to deal with the foolishness. Absolutely, Angie. We're not going to deal with it. So with that, I want to thank everybody for being here. Debrica for becoming a member of the YouTube page, because now you don't have to become a member of YouTube. That's an option if you want to financially support the channel by becoming a member. I know after I do these videos, sometimes people give super thanks. So whatever donations people give, I greatly appreciate it. And remember that we got to free ourselves to be ourselves, because our greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations. And we're going to go out with a 369. Be blessed. Whoa.